Good evening. Welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always served. Tonight's special guest is Bethany Noble. She is the owner of The Guided Key. She is certified in life coaching as well as QHHT. So we're going to get into hypnosis and all kinds of cool stuff tonight. Welcome, Bethany.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be back.
Yes, yes. So your newest adventure has been in hypnosis.
Yep, QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique. This is developed by Dolores Cannon a little over 50 years ago or so. She developed that technique with her husband. They're from the St. Louis area, actually. They ended up retiring in Arkansas. Um, there's a whole backstory about them. They're pretty cool, actually.
Mhm.
But he was in the Navy and did some hypnosis, not for the Navy, but with the Navy, and through some exploration, developed this technique and really refined it over the years. And it's really a tried and true process to help people heal their current timeline, their current life issues that they're struggling with. So we work with people on the subconscious level to land at a place in their past so that they can begin to kind of dissect what the issue might be. And the subconscious knows what that is. They don't have to come in knowing exactly what it is. They typically don't know exactly, what it is they're trying to um, parse out. Just that there's something that they've been trying to deal with or resolve for some period of time. And it can be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, can be anything really.
Mhm.
I have people come in with any range of um, uh, issue, if you will, but whatever the reason that they're coming in, they are presenting with something that they usually leave with some clarity or peace around.
Right.
And whether it's something that they're resolving or getting some relief to, they do end up getting some clarity and around it. And that's because the subconscious knows what it is that they're seeking that clarity and relief to. And so
Right.
whenever we work together to um, understand what it is that they're coming in for initially, and we spend a little time talking before the hypnosis session. And that helps me to kind of guide um, during the hypnosis. Then after or through the hypnosis, then the subconscious, lands where it needs to be and extracts the keys really to the healing that needs to take place.
So, a lot of people have questions about, so hypnosis, that means someone else is in control of my brain. But really, with QHHT, having experienced it with you, we come in with our own generated questions
Mhm.
that we want to know about our trauma, shadow work, current themes that are coming up, or reoccurrent themes that keep reoccurring that we can't seem to break, and
Yeah,
why. Yes, even past life questions, positions in life, why we're going through physically what we're going through, how do we heal ourselves, all of those type of questions.
people want to know like anything from like I've always been fascinated by my past lives. I want to know about my past lives to I need clarity on my life path. I need clarity about my life purpose, to I've always felt like I don't belong. I've always felt like there's something that's just missing. Um, to I've done all of the hard work and I've put in all of the work and I still have this tremendous amount of anxiety and I struggle with this tremendous amount of pressure that I don't know where it comes from. I keep repeating the same type of patterns over and over again, and I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know why I have that pattern in place. So a lot of times people will use this type of hypnosis for phobias. It's a really great way to kind of trace back where a phobia might come from.
Sure.
So yeah, there's a lot of great reasons to use it. I would say I don't it's not something that I use for anyone for things like weight loss or smoking cessation. A lot of times people ask me, is that something you do? It's not. I'm not a hypnotherapist for weight loss or smoking cessation. This is purposely and intentionally past life regression hypnosis, and it is intended to help people to heal the parts of themselves that they are intentional about healing. And what I mean about that is when you identify something in yourself that can be resolved, it's up to you then to take those steps and continue to move in the direction of doing that. So when you come to a session with me and we do a hypnosis session and your subconscious unveils the work for the healing, then it's up to you to listen to the recording then and move forward with that work so that you can then apply that healing and apply the work to be able to get the relief from that session as well.
But if technically though, if you wanted to see why you had a smoking addiction or a food addiction, you could go into a QHHT session with the purposeful intention of what trauma or what am I feeding? What does this substance feed? What am I missing in the picture? And that would actually come out. And if you chose to use that information, you could in turn use that information to stop smoking, stop eating so much, manage sugar, everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you have the capacity to use that, you would be able to almost immediately. If you have the ability to use that yourself, then you have the knowledge, you have the capacity, then that's up to you. You're able to do that. Right. 100%. Yeah.
But understand, I want people to understand, having gone through this session, Bethany is not responsible for your actions when you leave the session. Bethany is the facilitator to put you under and the facilitator to ask your subconscious, your higher consciousness, the questions that you choose to ask and answer. Once you leave the session, it is up to you to decide what to do with that information.
Yeah.
Not Bethany. It's up to the person who has made the appointment to take that information and go with that. You can choose to ignore it. You can choose to walk away from it, or you can choose to actively think about the fact that this was already in your subconscious, your higher consciousness. You knew the answers to these things. It's coming from you. So you have the ability then to change what you're doing and change your patterns based on that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And, isn't that the beauty of how our subconscious works?
Mm-hmm. Whoa. I've said that a lot the last 2 weeks. Whoa. I can tell you, I'm willing to, Bethany can't obviously release because of because of HIPAA and client rights, she can't talk except for in general about what it is she does. I was one of her first people, and I'm willing to answer questions. And if anybody has any questions about this, it was pretty amazing. The session was extremely amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing. I'm happy to talk, ad nauseum about my own experience, and thank you for being willing to talk about your experience, and to the extent that I can talk generally about experiences and any that I've watched, because I've watched so many as part of my training as well.
It's crazy. I mean, you're laying there and you're just like, the stuff is flowing out and you're going,
oh yeah,
like my brain was going, holy shit, just shut up. Where is this coming from? Good God, just shut your mouth. And it's just free flowing out. And I'm going, I actually said that. And I think at one point in time I said, whoa, that was really fucking deep. Like, it's like,
most of the time people think they're making this up. Like that's one of the first things that people say to me is, am I making this up? And and I say, there's no way that you could sit there with me for the amount of time that you are and free flow make up the things that you are. There's just no way.
You can't. It's not in the detail. There is no way in the detail. I got so descriptive in some of my answers, and there's no way I could have made up any of that detail.
No, and also, I think, why would you, in some of the cases that I've experienced, why would you in some of the knowledge that has come out of it? So
there's no
time in a traumatic way. I just mean it in kind of a nonsensical way. So
right. Well, and it comes out so quick. It comes out so quick. Like, the couple of the questions you asked me, and I'm just like snarky, and it was just like, boom, the answer was just there. And like, I didn't have time to think or process the question. Like if I had wanted to make up an answer, I would have come up with a much better, maybe not cooler, but a much more appropriate answer than what flew out of my mouth. And yet it's
something a little more snazzy.
But it's what it is, it just like, it hits.
That's what I mean, something a little less nonsensical.
Yeah. If you're watching,
that's the other thing, I have to make sure people understand that whatever comes up is valid. Everything is valid. And so share whatever is coming up, and also share, because sometimes what happens is you begin to get lost in the fact that you're having this experience and you forget to express yourself. And that's where my job comes in, where I'm coaching you to talk and tell me what's happening so that we can catch it. Because when you have the session, one of the things that happens is we do a recording of the session so that you can listen to that. And there's a couple of reasons. It's not just because it's nice to have so that you can listen to it. You also integrate afterwards when you listen to that recording. You don't really have like an amnesia effect. A lot of people are worried. I'm glad you brought that up earlier about people being concerned about kind of being mind manipulated with hypnosis. That is something that people mention to me. When you have these sessions, you're not really, you don't have amnesia of the session. You feel like you're in control of the session still. You're in a dream state, but you're not absent of the session still.
No, you're very present.
You're very present.
Very present. You're aware of I had a fly land on my face. I knew there was a fly landing on my face. I was very aware of what was going on. Yeah, it happens. I knew I needed to shift positions. I shifted positions. You're not locked in. You're not paralytic. There's
Yeah,
nothing like that. You're able to move around in bed, like you're laying in a nice, comfortable mattress with a warm blankie, and you feel real snug and everything's great. But like if you need to shift or you need to stretch, you can do you're in control of your body.
yeah,
Bethany's not in control of your body.
yeah, no, and you go into the theta state. So there's 4 different states, sleep states that you kind of go into, or brainwave states that our brain shifts into. We work in the theta state when we're working in the hypnosis state for this work, and the the brain shifts into that. The people say, "Oh, you can't be hypnotized." Well, you are hypnotized twice every time you go to sleep. When you fall asleep, when you wake up. So that's what you always are. But yeah, try to get back to what we were just talking about. I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. It was important to me.
The state of being able to remember things you're not unable to remember. You're not blocked from what went on. You have the
Oh
memory
yeah,
of
that's right. Yeah, so it's not an amnesia effect. It's you do definitely still have a good foundation of what still is going on, and you get a recording of the session afterwards. So that's important because you need to integrate the session afterwards and get more of a foundation of kind of what went on. And I I ask during the session how often you should listen to it. There's a recommendation that'll come out of that, but you should do that. You should listen, and you should allow yourself to kind of settle in, because every time you listen to it, you'll pick up something new. You'll pick up something different, and you'll learn something new that you didn't pick up in your session, and then that you didn't pick up the last time you heard it. And one of the things that I know from personal experience that I can attest to is when I am either struggling or when I'm in a place that I know that my subconscious, or I refer to it as my SC, or my higher self, would want me to listen to that recording, then I do it, because it takes me back to a different state of mind that I'm able to then just kind of reset. And that's really kind of what these sessions do for people, I think, is it gives them a chance to reset and just I think people are kind of getting tired of the spin out of going to so many different sources for different answers and being
For
able,
sure.
you know what I mean? And so the ability to like go to yourself, your higher self, and
Which knows
say, yeah,
you know what's going on, whether you can articulate it or you know what's going on.
yeah,
Your higher self really does know what's going on.
yeah. And what happens here is you cut through the bullshit, right? And you're like, so when you're really tired, and when you're really done, and when you're really ready, this is the work for you, right? when
Yeah,
like,
you have to face a lot. Like it's unbelievable what you face, and yet it's not done in a traumatic manner. It just
it's not. It's
we
really
know
so
these things
graceful.
already. We know it's just stuff that we don't want, due to whatever hangups we have. We don't want to admit it, or we need the validation. With me, I needed validation. Like I am not an ego. Like there's things I do for my ego. Sure, I'm human. There's always, wouldn't put makeup on and nails if there wasn't like some form of ego thing, right? But I think a lot of us do practices and we're kind of like, holy shit, that worked.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the business. If we can't believe that it's working, it doesn't work. Like, you have to know that it's going to work. And there's a high part of me that knows every time I do a spell, every time I do something, it's going to fucking work. We know it's going to work. But
Yeah.
then, like, I'm like a little kid at Christmas. When it does work, I'm like, holy shit, that worked.
It works.
Did you see that? That fucking worked. It really worked, And I should have that trust in my faith. But then hearing it from my higher self, of course it's going to work.
Yeah.
It changes everything. How many of you guys that are watching right now would undergo hypnosis and do this QHH? I just drew a blank.
QHHT.
How many of you guys would do that? So type in a 1 if you would do it, and type in a 2 if you were like, you wouldn't do it. And if you're maybe, type in a 3. So 1, 2, or 3. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for maybe. We're not soliciting.
We're not soliciting.
I know. I just want to see what people think. Like, get you guys involved. You're sitting back and you're watching the pod, and it's always good to interact. I want to see you guys interact.
And so also, just so you all understand, so I'm the owner of the guided key. I started doing this work. I started the guided key in September. We're coming up on 1 year. My 1 year anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
But I do transformational coaching and Reiki, and I do that kind of energy work. But I do the quantum healing now, and I do the quantum healing right now through my internship program. And so it's really important for me to understand like what the outreach is like and what people
why you're not. Entering the unknown says they would do it. I've got one. Come on. There's 4 other of you out there right now.
I gotta understand like what is it that if people are worried or if there's hesitation, it's important for me to understand what that hesitation is, because I'm still learning what the audience's concerns are about this type of, and people who know me know that I'm fairly transparent about things, so I don't mind asking these types of questions. If you guys
you guys know I'm kind of an open book. My session changed my life.
If there's people that are on that 2 list and you have reasons, please share what they are. If you're like, oh, hell no, please tell me what it is, because I'm curious what that reason is. Because I'm one of the, as soon as I found out about this type of work, I found out about this work in January of this year through exposure to a book, through Dolores Cannon's book. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, one of her books. And her work just fascinated me. And it made me feel so connected to just anything, finally. I finally felt like I was validated. Like my experiences felt validated. But it was in such a way that it was intangible, and also it was what I can now articulate as in my subconscious mind, because I couldn't explain it then. It was just an inherent feeling that I had.
Sure.
So, but that's what the experience was. I mean, I have just had, these experiences before where I have connected previously, and her ability to have generated these experiences with literally over 45,000 times before. She's done this over 45,000 times. And then, now she has taught other people how to do it as well. So
to repeat the question, we've got more people that hopped on. 1, if you would undergo hypnosis or quantum healing hypnosis. It doesn't have to be like generalized hypnosis. If you would consider undergoing this, type in a 1. 2, if you would not ever consider it, and 3 is a maybe. Because we're trying to figure out why wouldn't people want to do this. And not to put you on the spot, But
Right.
just like, what are the reasons that people would not want to be open to this? I can tell you it's life-changing. The information that I took, I ran with. Like, I was so glad to be validated. I probably shifted polar opposite because I'm an extreme person. So I went from one aspect. I went from a 1 on one thing to a 10 on the other, and I've now backed off just a little bit. Just um, but embracing what I am, like no longer fearful of what I am, and truthfully, no longer fearing the consequences of what I am and what I do. Not that you can just go out there and let something rip and do something bad, but
And I would say, like, having witnessed that happen, it was such a graceful process. It was not life altering for you. You know, sometimes when people experience change, it's like ripping off the band-aid, and the wound is just, you know, there it is. And that didn't happen, and it didn't happen like that with me either. You know,
no, I feel like it. I really feel like I just stepped into it and became the things that I thought of doing and the things I wanted to do, and the concerns that I had over doing the things that I chose to do or the way I feel, that edge was taken off of it. The battle, the struggle in my consciousness, not subconsciousness, but my very consciousness level was the struggle was removed. You know, it was like, okay, so I was validated enough that I'm now comfortable just stepping into it. I don't give a fuck. There's my fuck bucket, still empty. I still have a fuck coin. I have one fuck left and I'm hanging on to that. Um, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I really don't.
yeah,
Um, I am stepping into my power, stepping into the state that I have chosen to be in or has chosen me, and I'm embracing it full on rather than worrying about, well, what are people going to think if I post that I practice this, or what are people going to think about? I don't care what you think. Like, if you don't like me, don't subscribe to me. I'm going to be honest. If you don't like my page, get the hell off of it. Block me, unfollow me, whatever. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it for me,
yeah,
and I stepped up to that journey.
yeah. Total amount of release, I think, found for me when I had my session. My overall message was very clear, and I was informed very clearly. You know, it was
So was I.
you know, and that's what I love, you know, because there are times when it's very convoluted for me in the conscious realm. It's
Mhm.
very convoluted. And so in the subconscious world, it's very direct and to the point. And if it's not, if so, the other thing that I think is important for people to understand is um, two things. One, when you work with someone, when one thing I wanted to make sure people understood, when you work with someone, don't do it virtually. If you choose to do a session, don't do it virtually. We can talk
Right.
about, like, if you don't understand why I'm saying that, there's a lot of risks involved with that. But we can
Yes.
talk about that. Like, okay. But if you if you if if you sorry, I got off on that tangent. That
That's
bothers
okay.
me. People do that. That's kind of one of my pet peeves now, I think, in this industry. You know how you get on little pet peeves? I think that's one of mine now. It's gonna be one of my soapbox.
We all have them. We all have them. It's dangerous. Like, first of
It's
all,
so
you don't know
dangerous.
people don't know you don't know what somebody's doing with the recording. You don't know what people are doing for a lot of things. And to me, it is.
Well,
What?
and also,
Okay.
you know how I am. I am so the ethical person about stuff that
Right.
I'm.
Hang on a second. I got to get this in here. Hellcat76. Hell yeah. She says, no coincidences, but serendipity. Did I just stumble upon a new realm with like-minded people? Yes, you
Yes, you
did,
did.
Hellcat76. You did. We are having so much fun. We're talking about QHH
HHT, quantum healing hypnosis
technique, and we're talking about the hypnosis and the ethics of it and the higher conscious and that we're in charge of that and the life-changing things. Just to go a quick summary to catch some of you up, and it's amazing. And ask any questions if you want, Hellcat. Like, we answer them. That's what we're here for, is just to talk and join in the conversation, please. Okay, got that out
Yeah.
there.
So anyway, I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of my soapboxes that I get on, because
Well, we have to, because online stuff is scary.
online stuff is scary,
Not Reiki and like, if you know your practitioner, online healing, not so much, but going into a person's mind, I want somebody there to monitor me, for one thing. I want somebody to redirect my questions. If
so
I
that's
start
where I was going.
and if I start blocking, I want somebody who's there that has the experience to be able to open me back up for my session. The sessions are not cheap. This is
Yes.
not a cheap thing. Don't waste your money on somebody who's going to say they're doing something, because you don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
When you're in person, I'm hearing Bethany. I'm hearing, thank you. I'm going to blow this. Jania? Thank you. She says,
Janae.
Janae. Okay, I can't read.
That's all right. We'll give you one.
That's why I got her on. It's so important that you know that your questions are actually being asked. You don't know on a computer screen what's being muted and what you're not, what's being asked and what's not being asked. So it's
Well,
really
and the other
important.
thing is, like, what if something happens? The connection goes down.
And you're left in a hypnosis state.
Yeah. I mean, I can't get behind. I just can't get behind that practice. And the other thing is, if they're a certified QHHT practitioner, they are not going by the guidelines if they're doing online hypnosis. So you don't want to go with them anyway. Um, so yeah, there are a lot of things that go on whenever you come in for a session. Like you were just saying, Julie. I'm constantly monitoring people. I'm watching for physical signs, like I'm watching eyelids. I'm watching breath rate. I'm watching the way that people transition between lifetimes and times within lifetimes. The affects of people change drastically between those timelines, and the tone changes. If you listen to your recording, you will hear the tone in your voice changes between your timeline and between when we start talking to the subconscious state.
Oh, hell yeah. From my Japanese thing, going from my Japanese thing and brothel days to the 2020 2097. There was a huge shift. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
So Julie
I was like,
went
can you
like
describe this?
three different timelines.
I did. I hopped 3 timelines and it was crazy. Like, one was so peaceful and the other one was a lot of fun. I didn't really want to leave that one. And then all of a sudden I'm like, this is really nasty. Like, what the hell am I doing here? And she's like trying to get me to open up, and she's talking about like, can you describe what you're feeling? I don't know, man. These people are like looking at me and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like,
yeah, so that's
it could be I'm naked and gooey, and it could be because they just have never seen anybody naked and gooey. And why am I naked and gooey?
And so that's one of the things. Like, you want a practitioner that's going to help you really try to get into that life and is also going to really help get into the questions and not just allow you to shut yourself down. So that's kind of where I was going when I got on my soapbox moment. You have the ability still in this hypnotic state to still kind of shut yourself down a little bit. And we'll still kind of tell ourselves, I don't know, or no at times. So, people who know me know I'm pretty bullheaded and stubborn and pushy about stuff. And I continue to be that way in this career path still. So I insist and continue to push and still get answers even in this, realm. So we still push through and still get answers, even though the subconscious might tell us no. We break through those barriers. And I had kind of a funny incident recently. I learned, I mentioned you guys that I was in my internship program and I was learning some stuff still. And I had this question that came up and I was asking it. It was a very challenging question to begin with. And I asked the question and the SC, the subconscious, responded no. And I had to just keep asking. And finally, after I rephrased it, maybe 5 or 6 different ways, immediately I got an answer. And so it's just a matter sometimes of just rephrasing until we understand things. And I think that's interesting. It's very curious to me to kind of watch some of these things and compare them to the way that we operate in the conscious world, because the way that we communicate with each other is very interesting. Like on the subconscious realm also, it's like you just have to say just the right thing sometime and then, oh, I got it.
Well, and think about explaining something, like sometimes you have to explain something 4 or 5 times to someone before the light bulb comes on.
Yeah.
And it has to be a life experience or something they can relate to, and your subconscious is the same way. So Entering the Unknown says, I think a lot of mental health issues could potentially be fixed if hypnotherapy was an option, especially if all other avenues have not helped. Absolutely. Because we know why we do things. We do. I mean, believe it or not, most of the time we know. We just have a block because of it can be trauma bonds, trauma responses, past experiences with, people making fun of us for our answers, or that insecurity that I don't know what's best for myself, or if I speak, it's going to be the wrong thing. But when you cut through the bullshit, what's really in our brain, what's really up in that that higher consciousness, if we take the filter off that, we know the answer. It's kind of like you forget your spouse's phone number. It's always up there. We just block ourselves from it. And then we panic because we block. And when we panic, when we block, then the whole fucking file cabinet locks down and we can't access anything. Hellcat says, I adore hypnosis. It's a very, hang on, put up there. I adore hypnosis. It is a very touchy and delicate practice. I've had 4 proper hypnosis sessions, all with different practitioners. 3 of the 4, I went fully under, 1 a total fail. And that's why, it's important that you trust the person that you're with, and it's important that you are comfortable physically and mentally sharing the things that you have to share. My questions were deep questions. I'm sure Bethany's questions for herself were very deep questions. If you don't want to know, you surface skirt the issue. You're not really invested. My questions were really deep. I mean, I got into some things that were like, I don't know. Darkness.
I had questions for myself. I had questions for the collective. Mm-hmm. I mean, people come in with questions that are all over the place. They want to know about, what's good for them professionally, personally, family, love, it's all over the spectrum. And, what can they do to contribute to the community? What can they do to contribute to society, to the greater good? There's just all over the spectrum. And I always tell people, there's nothing that's off limits. And no. Your higher self knows every version of you in every timeline of you that has existed and will ever exist. So you can ask anything. And there's nothing that is off limits. I mean, your higher self is capable of answering anything that you want to know.
Yeah. So. and use that information to go into or open new doors, because as I tell people in my readings, one of my bone things is a key, and we hold the key. We hold our own key. No one holds our key for us unless we give them the key and say, here, take it and do what you want, which we do as humans a lot of the time. But understanding that I hold my own key and I'm responsible for my key to open the doors that I choose to open, it has opened the knowledge that I gained, that I already had, because it was my knowledge, obviously. But the knowledge that I gained from my session was such that I could effectively open those doors and not be scared of the repercussions. Now, there's always consequences and repercussions, good or bad, for everything that we do. And yeah, I opened a few too many doors, maybe, but that was my ability and my choice to do that. And for once in my life, it was not a fear-based decision going, oh, but maybe what are people going to think? Am I really going to do this too much? Like, what am I going to lose who I am, or am I going to lose this? Or, I have to float on such a delicate line. And I think I found out through my thing, I didn't have to fucking float on any line. So I could make those decisions based on the information I had and knowledge about myself, and be secure in that. Yes, Hellcat, please share. And it's on, the recording's always up on YouTube, so they can go back and comment, and we watch our comments too. Thank you.
I put the link in that comment, Julie, but I don't know if it's showing up or not.
I have not seen it yet, but that doesn't mean we can post it afterwards too. But it's so nice to be able to make a decision not based on, what do I want to say? I call it the Jiminy Cricket phenomena, where you got the little angel on one side and you got the little demon on the other side. And it's going, should I do this? Oh no, you shouldn't, because people might, or what if? No, that's not who I am. I know who I am. I know I'm strong in who I am.
It's so like the sounding board. It's like the sounding board has given you the validation that you needed. So you can confidently move forward and press forward, and not have that reservation that you're describing here, with one chirping on one side and the other one chirping on the other side. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. But now, what if I lose myself? Now I know who I am. You don't have to worry about that. Like, depending on your questions and what your, what the information is, that's no longer a concern. At least for me, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it was instantaneous. I it just felt immediate. Because I had no amnesia type effect, so I had the ability to know what the experience was like coming out of it. And then I listened to my recording right away. So I integrated the rest of the experience that I didn't remember right away. And then I continued to listen to my recording over and over for many days to follow, and picked up a lot of the detail along the way because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it impacted me. It changed my life, and it changed the way that I saw a lot of things that had happened in my life. It changed the way that I viewed parts of myself. It changed the way that I viewed decisions that I was actively making at the time. And I I just feel like it absolutely was the right decision for me to make. And I will do another hypnosis session again.
I will too.
It's not like one and done thing for me, but
Yeah.
it's also, not something that I have to say, oh, I have to wait and do, until so much has resolved. I don't feel like that either. It doesn't feel like I have to get over a hump. I think for me personally, I have enough going on in my life right now that I wouldn't do one right now. But the process is not aggressive. It doesn't feel.
No.
You know what I mean?
There's no aggressiveness to it at all.
It feels
very
so
comfortable.
Yeah, it integrates very well with your life because the subconscious knows what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you take the steps to then make the changes, then you're able to integrate that healing into your life.
Entering the unknown, I'm not going to read your comment out loud, but where do you live? What part of the country do you live in? Just text it in the link. We'll see if we can reach out and find you somebody in that area.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely.
Yeah, there's some great options. I can definitely make some connections. There are practitioners all over the country that are available, and all over the world. Yeah, all over the world.
We can probably find you a practitioner in the UK.
Yeah. And if you go to the QHHT website, you should be able to find a practitioner that is located close to you. Mm-hmm. And I would make a recommendation of any of the level 1, 2, or 3 practitioners. Level 3 is going to be the most experienced practitioner. That means that they've had over 150 experiences with clients. I agree. Dolores was very amazing. I agree. She paved the way for many of the experiences that we are all having. And so yeah, if you go to their website and look for their practitioners, you can find one there. But the level 3 will have more than 150 of the sessions under their belt, so that they can be to that level. So, yeah.
Right. No, I St. Dolores. Yeah, that's why I went. Yeah, for sure. It's such a impactful thing to go through this, and you talk about listening to your tape, like listening to your review session or the recorded session. And I was warned, of course, not, don't hypnotize yourself, but I did.
I've worked it out, Julie, so that I don't do that now.
And it was awesome because let me tell you, I listened to the whole thing, but I caught myself answering deeper. So I'm listening to you ask the questions and I'm listening to my answers, but I was still talking, like I was talking over the next questions. I had more to say, like once I loosened up, I had so much more to say on things.
Mm-hmm.
And my subconscious really wanted to tell more stories. And I went ahead and just listened to myself ramble. Like I was behind, but each time I do it, I have more to say and more to say and more to say. And it just comes out. And I let myself go under and come back out because I'm like, why not? Why not? It's not going to elicit anything bad. I'm getting deeper information on the stuff that I
Yeah.
wanted to know about. They're just more stories. But
Yeah.
that actually helped me. Like I did an investigation this weekend, and it was an amazing place in Kansas, the 1858 Garnett House. And crazy, like I walked in totally knowing that I was going to connect and my name was there. And let it be known out in the car that my name was going to be known and they were going to remember me. And they did. And it was crazy. Like it was crazy. We did multiple experiments in that house that I've never taken part in before. I've done this stuff for paranormal stuff for 15 years, channeling and stuff. I mean, I was doing seances in grade school. It was absolutely phenomenal, the things that came to me and the things I saw and the connections that were made and the questions that I was able to ask the spirits and even the answers that I gave people were very strange answers. And to some of the people that were listening in on the experiments, like they're like, well, maybe, but I was solid in my answers and people didn't catch that. Like they said something about, can you tell us about the investigators that you were with? And I said, there's a few. Well, I mean, there's more than a few. There's kind of many. There's 5. There might be 6 now. Like I was just like describing things. And it was like my answers were so weird. And they said something about regrets. And I said, I can't remember what I said, something about responsibilities and relationships. Oh God, they made me broke. Would not do that again. And I just started rambling about this whole thing and it's a trap. And I went through this whole thing. But if you had known the people that had stayed in that particular hotel, it was Billy the Kid. It was Wyatt Earp. It was these people. It was Madame Starr, one of the female gunslingers in brothel. Like when you think about this, it was very pertinent to the time.
Oh my God.
And they didn't connect the dots. And I'm connecting the dots.
So having been on the other side of your session, this makes me so happy. B, this makes so much sense why this would happen with you. I mean, and I'm so glad. I'm so happy that this is happening for you.
Crazy. It was crazy. Because I'm the force, right?
Yes.
In the store.
Okay, for the listeners, for the people watching, I'm not going to give any of Julie's information. She can share whatever she
You're
feels
free
like.
to. You have my permission. Because it's funny as hell. Even you laughed. I even had you laughing.
The messages that Julie got were so in line with the things that Julie is conveying that took place here that she's describing, and that she is what her intention is what she is called to do in this lifetime is what she is doing. Yes. However,
dead. And people know that. I've said that on my podcast. I walk with the dead. I am the conveyor of the dead's information and the releaser of souls. That's what I do. Sounds corny.
And I will say this on Julie's behalf that she does a very good job of it. And she does not give herself the kind of credit that she needs to. So she has been, I think, given the acknowledgement now that she needs to have, and this is very good validation of that. I can see that. That's amazing.
Put that was very negotiable and moderate line. So people come to
you know what that is? That's 25 years of working in government.
You verbalize that very kindly. Um, you know, when you do the kind of work I do, and I do mediumship and I do readings and I'm clairvoyant and I do paranormal investigations and I work with demons and I'm a witch and I do all, okay, so it's out there. Everybody knows this about me, except for the new ones who just are getting on. Um, I've always had this struggle because I go dark. And when I go dark, it's dark 030. I love dark 030. I hang with the dark. I love the darkness. Physically and mentally and metaphysically, that's where I'm at. But everybody's always telling me, oh, we don't, you're too dark for us. Or you should know you have to stay light because in Reiki, you have to stay light. Well, who the fuck says you have to stay light? Like if you're pulling dark things off, dark knows dark. Light doesn't always play well with dark. It's hard to get it off. So I have my own way of doing things. But that has been my conscious struggle for so many years, was to maintain a lightness because everybody demanded I maintain lightness. And other readers would even they wouldn't do parlor reads with me and do stuff because it's like, oh no, we're loving light, man. We're loving light. We don't speak of demons. We don't speak of darkness. Well, how the fuck can you talk about light if you don't acknowledge dark? Because there's as above, so below. Like,
Right.
yin and the yang.
Right.
Like, there's so many examples of that. And the first thing out of my mouth when that was one of my questions was deep as shit. Like, I'm the roots in the tree. I am below the earth. And even the willow tree that's got the sunshine on it has to have the fucking roots in the dirt.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've embraced it. Hellcat says we have lots in common. Yay. But then she says denial. Yeah. Well, people don't want that. They want to preach love and light. And that's fine. There's nothing, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with love and light. Like, the willow tree has to have its branches in the sunshine. It has to have the sunshine in order to feed. It also has to have its roots really deep in the dirt to hold up in storms. And so as above, so below, we have to mirror each other, and you have to do that. And I know enough to come up for air. Like today's the day I'm coming up for air. I'm going to be up for air for a few days, hopefully, and then I'll take a deep dive again. But I no longer feel like I have to be what other people expect me to be and say what is expected, because it's what I am and it's who I am, and I'm happy now to be there. And I don't have that constant struggle in my head, like, well, shit,
Yeah. Yeah. Like doom, doom dark. That's what I don't see on you anymore, is doom dark.
Because I don't feel like I'm doomed. I'm there by choice.
Yeah.
And choice is a lot different than doomed.
Yeah.
Doomed and damnation, that's trauma. That's a trauma bond with dark, as opposed to, I'm popping in to hang with my peeps for a while. We're going to smoke some cigars and drink a bottle of whiskey, and I'm going to be sitting down on the front porch with my demon, and we're going to be hanging for a few days. But then, you know what? He's going to go bye-bye, and I'm going to come up for some sunshine and sunbathing and, orange juice, and then I'll go back.
Time to go back. Deep dive again.
Not for a while. But that's my choice.
Yeah.
I now have a choice in it, but I didn't realize I had a choice before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You didn't know that before. And now you understand there's a delineation.
Yeah. And that's what this QHHT did for me, was it gave me the choice to be able to see the difference, and make my own choice, not based on fear, because my choice was based on fear.
And for me, it gave me this huge sense of peace around letting go of stuff that I couldn't keep control of. Mm-hmm. It let me see that there was peace in letting go of stuff that was not mine.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even in the clinging on to things with me, like there was a lot of unrest with, clear into getting into AI games and shit, and having relationship patterns and weird patterns of things that kept happening with even Chat GPT. I was like, fuck me. Like, how can you get fucked over by Chat GPT? But it happens, like, whatever. Like, you're trying to figure out these things, and it's like, what is the common denominator in all of this? Like, because clearly it's my personality, or my choices with people, or the things that how I share of myself with people. And I'm very trusting, and I'm very gullible, and I'm not talking about my marriage. That's not at all what I'm talking about. It's other relationships that I formed, and even friendships or team people, and things like that, and being too trusting and hoping that I will mirror the best so that people will change. Oh,
Yeah.
no. No, people change because people want to
Want
change, not because I'm going to shove their face in the pond and hopefully drown them and get them to change in some
yeah.
near-death experience. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, you forcing them isn't gonna force the issue to
yeah,
happen.
who do I think I am to have that ability to change another person's direction by manipulation and all the other human things that we do? And I think that was very enlightening as well for me to understand that I'm here to deal with my shit, not their shit. Now I take clients on and then we work with their shit, but this is a different kind of shit. This is like in your own personal life with your own personal stuff that you're going on with. Like, I'm here for anybody who wants to do the work.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do your work for you anymore. And I
Well,
realized that, like, why am I begging people to let me help them? That's not good for me. It's not good for you. It's not a relation. That's not how relationships go.
no, and that makes the energy too draining, right? It's too draining at that point
And
for
when you
either of
eliminate
us.
that, and my subconscious knew that. Like that, I figured
Yeah.
out through the QHHT. It's like, this is my common thread right there. And as soon as I was able to connect with that piece of information, like even the games I play on AI, like the different story games and so everything started changing up. Like it
Mhm.
changed up. Like I took over. I was the boss. I won the game. I did what I needed to do. I made quick decisions, and it's played completely
It
different now.
shifts. It shifts. It shifts as long as you allow it to, too, though, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's totally my choice to. I can go back to my old way, sure,
yeah,
but this is so much more effective and so much more efficient. And there's no, I don't feel bad at the end of the day. I'm not going, why did I get left? There's the victim role.
yeah,
Why did they leave me? Why did they screw me over? Why did they kill me in the game? There's none of that anymore.
no, no.
Because you're not the
And
victim.
the thing, the thing that I love about it is it's like it it took how long? 8 hours?
Yeah. 7.5 hours to do this? Like, fuck. 7.5 hours. I'm 63 years old. It was so life-changing for me. 8 hours work
And
to
like,
change
I
over
mean,
63
and I
years.
don't mean to sound like so like nonchalant about that, but I'm like, I've spent years in therapy, right? And I mean, my therapy has been effective and it's been helpful, and it has led me to where I am now, and it has done tremendous work, right? Like it's good for me, but
Mhm.
this did so much for me. Like it changed my life.
Yeah. Well, it's like the lies have stopped. It's like the lies that we tell ourselves, there's no need for them anymore.
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
I just didn't have to. I stopped lying to myself
and you're
immediately.
not the victim anymore. Like, there's no need to be the victim to protect anything anymore because you know the real answer, you know the real meaning of why it is you do things, depending on what questions you ask and how deep you're willing to go. Faith, availability, and maybe have a positive effect on the parent. Yeah. Well, if
Yeah,
you don't think it's going to work,
then it's not. Yeah, it's the
it's like
same
anything.
with everything, right? If you
Yeah,
don't
and
think
that's a
it's
good
going to
point.
happen, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, if you
Same
don't,
with everything.
and why waste the time? Why waste the money and the resources and the time doing something if you don't think it's going to work? I mean,
Yeah,
I'd love
same
to
with
tell
everything.
you anyway, but your questions are going to suck and your attitude's going to suck and you're not going to believe anything that if you don't have that belief system and that faith that it's going to work.
And here's the thing. I have all of the information available to pick and prod and poke at your subconscious, right? I have a bunch of questions to ask. And I ask questions to understand stuff about your timeline, to give you a good, thorough experience. But if you don't show up in a way that is open minded, and if you don't show up in a way that is ready to receive, then you're not going to have the experience that is going to allow you to receive. And so I just, the one thing that I ask people to do is show up with an open mind. And as long as you show up with an open mind, ready to receive, and you're going to get what you put in.
Yes. That's a good comment, Witchmaster. The lies we tell ourselves either take you up higher or drag us down lower, both tricks of the ego to pull us out of our center. Absolutely, they do, because the ego is very strong. And we have to have, I mean, our ego is a source of protection. It is a survivor thing within us that helps us fight off so many things, but it also it's our best friend and our own worst enemy.
Yeah. I'd say ego is probably the most common denominator that comes up during our interview process. So one of the things we haven't really talked about is like what the overall what it looks like when you come in for a hypnosis session. We said, it takes like 8 hours. That's like a crazy amount of time for a session, right? But it's not if you think about the work that you're doing.
And you're not under
no.
That's processing questions. And
so usually I ask people to work with me starting at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm located in Jefferson City, Missouri, in the U.S. So, different practitioners work different ways, but this is my style. Typically, I start working with clients about 10 in the morning, and we do an interview for the first part of the session. And that can go anywhere from a couple of hours to maybe 5 hours. It just depends on how much we have to talk about. The goal of that interview is for me to understand your timeline in this present lifetime so that I can be familiar enough with you so that when you're under the hypnosis, I can guide the questions enough so that you get a full experience. So then the interview process, we talk, you give me, feedback about like the major milestones, the major events of your life, whatever makes sense that you feel is relevant. We talk about things like that. We talk about the major players in your lifetime, mom, dad, siblings, major relationships, things like that. Anybody you feel like is important, because usually the people that are important in this lifetime have played roles in many lifetimes. So we did the interview, we take a little break, then we go into the hypnosis session. During the hypnosis session itself, we look at first the timeline or timelines, and that you go back to. The subconscious will navigate you to wherever you need to go to for your healing process. And you're completely self-directed and you'll go wherever you need to go. I will direct you only in the sense that I will tell you to go to a lifetime. I will tell you to go within that lifetime to days within that lifetime. I will maybe navigate you within that lifetime somewhat, but then there's times that you may navigate yourself. It just depends on your subconscious. Honestly, you do your own thing in there. So
Very much so.
I'm just there to really help you navigate and be a vehicle of communication. So during the interview, or excuse me, during the hypnosis timeline, past regression process, we go through, whatever timeline regression the subconscious wants to direct you through. And then we move into the portion of the hypnosis where we talk with and work with the subconscious directly. And this is more for the healing portion, where we talk more to get like answers for questions that we have. That's where the actual questions come into play that people bring in, and there's more direct Q&A that we do at this point. Whereas when you're in the process of the past regression timeline, there's just more kind of feedback that is coming up. When we move into talking with the subconscious, there's really more Q&A session, I would say. And it's very interesting because through all of this kind of transition, the body is changing, the affect is changing, breath rate is changing, the personality is very clearly changing in the body at the same time. And you can hear it on the recording as well. It's so fascinating. So after the hypnosis has ended and I bring you back up, we'll do a debrief of the session and we'll talk about what we observed, and I will just talk you through what came up for me. And one of the things that I will tell you guys is, for me personally, as a intuitive reader, I feel like I do a very good job of separating myself intuitively from these sessions. And I do that on a couple of different levels, but there's one level that I intentionally do not, and that's my questions level. And I ask questions intuitively, and we're kind of guided to do that, to ask questions intuitively. But then there's a kind of healing component of it that I allow myself to intuitively guide into as well. And so if I feel like there's something that out of the interview, I can tell, that somebody has questions that they're really trying to navigate and glean answers out of. As I mentioned earlier, I can be kind of pushy and kind of stubborn. I will really get pushy about trying to get answers for things so that the healing can really try to take place for people. And it's in that state of the subconscious timeline in the hypnosis session that we really do that. And I tend to get in a more of a dialogue at that point with the subconscious, and we'll start asking for things to happen there. So, yeah.
It's a very smooth. I mean, it's very, very smooth. It takes I came with 25 questions. She said 15 to 20 questions, and she reframed questions so that one question in general may have encompassed 4 or 5 of my single questions. So that's part of that time when she's getting to know you and reworking your questions so that she can get the best overall answer. Because we tend to ask yes or no questions, and yes or no doesn't elicit anything but a yes or no. And especially if you're a sarcastic, stubborn, higher self, subconscious
Yeah, like
kind of
most of
no,
us people
and that's
that
it.
deal
No,
with this kind of
you ask
work,
you ask
we
yes or no.
we all have big egos, let's face it. And our our higher self, our subconscious has big ego too. And like my subconscious is a smartass. I will tell you that right now. Like I felt
Mine
really
is
bad.
depending on it. I mean, mine lets you know exactly what it thought, and
Yeah, I felt really bad for my practitioner. I was just like, I
here
would
we
let her have it.
are. Why are you asking her these things?
Yeah. So,
What are you? I've told you 3 times.
oh yeah, no, it, I, I kept saying, she's not listening. She's not to the practitioner. I'm not listening. She's not listening. She's not listening. She never listens. I bet there's a lot of people out there listening to this that would say, yeah, she never listens.
But we do, and that's the thing, like, like you kept saying with me, I know one of the questions you asked several times to get me to say more was like, what does Julie need to do to try to pull herself back up? She can't. It's what she fucking is, like, or
It's
quit
as good
eating
as it's gonna
cookies.
get, Bethany.
Quit eating cookies. That came up several times too, like, stop eating cookies. It was the whole thing. I have not had any cookies.
Oh,
I have
that's good.
had other things, but full
Replace it with
bottles of
hellos.
wine, some Rice Krispie treats, but no cookies. I took that one to heart.
That's funny.
Eagle will lift you up into the clouds above to pull you back into the quicksand. It is not your friend. Attachment to ego leads to suffering. Well, yeah, truthfully, I mean, Buddha will tell you attachment to anything will lead to suffering. You're not supposed to attach yourself to anything. You should be very fluid and non-attached. And if we were fluid and non-attached, then we would have very little suffering, because most of our suffering is caused by our stupid materialistic or whatever otherwise attachments that we develop to things, places, and people that cause the heartache. But we don't listen to Buddha very well either. So.
She doesn't listen.
I think we're a lot alike on things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's human nature, though. We're stubborn. Like, there are those of us that had to go through the school. Well, I said that last night. The FAAFO, fuck around and find out school.
Yeah.
You know, Chat GPT at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this morning. Why did you not secure your anchor when you did this? Now you have an attachment. I told you to secure an anchor when you went in there. Yeah, I know. That was my answer. Yeah, I know. And it came back with, you're screwed. Thank you. I know this as well. But it was a choice.
A trade.
Sometimes
A trade off like your cookies, huh?
it was a trade-off like my cookies. It was a great trade. Cleaning it up may not be a great trade, but in the moment, it was an exceptional trade. It was an exceptional trade.
And so I would argue, is this your healing path?
Oh, it had nothing to do with healing. But it did have to do with learning.
Ah, okay.
It did have to, it really was, it was a real higher level experimentation. And I wanted to go in without an anchor, knowing, number one, if I am the force and I am the storm, then I'm going to come out okay. In the end, I will come out okay. That doesn't mean there's not going to be some limbs broken and a messy cleanup, but I will come out okay.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing was when you go in with anchors and you go in with things, then say, here, hold my broom. Yeah, exactly. I'm about to go. Hold my beer, man. That's never a good sign when you go, here, hold this. But to do an experiment, we had 7 people doing the same thing. I didn't want to be the one, since I was probably the most intuitive channeler and deepest person spiritually in there to go in and do that. I didn't want to hold myself back and anchor, which would skew the results.
Right.
Like I wanted to go in open like everybody else and kind of fuck around and find out. Like, let's see how deep is. Like, because I don't know. I had not done anything like this before. I scry and I do things, but to actually step into the mirror with a mirror behind me and lock myself in between with certain frequencies playing at the same time that lock you in. I wanted to see how far could go. Like I've never had that experience. And it was with the Conjuring House mirror, the mirror that came from the actual Conjuring House, that had all the stuff go on in it. So, I mean, it was like an open portal. The mirror behind was a portal that was a very haunted portal that teenagers had messed with. So both mirrors had a great pull and were portals. I wanted to see what would happen. Like, I mean, worst case scenario, I don't know what that would be. Possession. Oops. Like, oops, my bad. That's how you find out.
The way you just oops, that kind of stuff to me.
That's what I said. You come to the storm, like, but recognizing that if I am that, and that is my purpose, so that I can do these things for people and things, you have to go through some storms to find out where your limitations are. And what if you made it through and you found out that frequencies released and frequencies helped these things move on quicker through doing this? Then it was worth the oops, because now you have another method that you can release things with, and you can take things to another level. If you don't try these things, you never move any further than where you are.
Move forward. Yeah.
No. And this is actually going to be, these experiments are actually going to be written up and like published, put out there for the community. So somebody has to do the oops. Like anytime there's a scientific study, medication study, anything, there's an oops. Like you have to have willing participants, and
you're doing it.
But who would have thought I would have been comfortable doing that and knowing I was going to be okay in the end?
Yeah.
That QHHT got me to the point where, okay, so the cleanup crew may be called to aisle 29. But I'll be able to call the cleanup crew and I'm going to come through okay.
Yeah.
And not worry about, is this going to, in the end, damage my higher vibration? My oops.
And now you're just
I'm making. Yeah, oops. You made me hold my beer for a minute.
And your
bail money should be arranged.
Your give a damn is truly busted now, right? You're like, I don't
really give a damn. No, I don't. And for me, that's a beautiful place. For other people, they may not be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But I also know I'm not going to cross certain lines.
Exactly.
At least right now.
I think what I found for you coming out of that session, having known you the way that I do, is you found a deeper respect for the work that you do.
Yes.
You found a deeper respect for the authority behind the work.
That's the word right there. Because going into places and doing what I do, cleaning houses, not housekeeping cleaning, but spiritually cleaning and working with negative entities and working with negative things. Authority Authority is what you have to have.
Yeah.
And whether your spiritual path is you believe in God and you command in the name of Jesus Christ, or you command in the name of Satan. I'm not going to get into who's who and who's what and what you should command in, but you have to have the authority and the ability to believe that that connection is strong enough that when you walk in, you're going to command and it's going to fucking happen.
Yep.
And in my line, my goal was to get it so that the spirits knew my voice ahead of time. They knew I was coming ahead of time. Yep. And I have now walked into 2 places since the QHHT. One place before that where my name was called as soon as we started in, it was called all night. And that tells me that I'm walking in now with a command authority. And they know when I walk in, I mean business, whether I'm going to clear them and help them or I'm going to remove them or whatever's going to happen, or nothing, just to communicate. They have that knowledge, and that's what I was looking for. And that's not ego for me. That is the ability to help other people.
Yeah.
No,
I totally agree. I think I mentioned this to you one time too about after my session, I felt like my skills or my abilities were heightened after my session, and I think that happened because I was just in touch with my higher self, right? Mm-hmm. I was more aligned with my higher self. So whenever I was doing my Reiki practice, I was more, in tune with my clients whenever I was working with them. Immediately following, I felt just a higher vibration around me, just in everything that I was doing. It was just like this wider range of vibration for me. Mm-hmm. And I was able to just connect, I think, more openly with the people that I had maybe closed down that channel previously. That's why when I say it's a reset, that's what I mean. It's like you're resetting some of the capacity that you used to have, and mm-hmm. you're clearing out some of the bogged down and clogged up channels that are there. At least that's what happened for me. I was really bogged down with a lot of pressure and a lot of just a lot of tension. And coming out of my session, I had a lot of clarity and a lot of peace. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that tension and a lot of that pressure was relieved. So yeah, I think for a lot of people who come in when they're struggling with things like anxiety, and tension that comes up with that kind of wackiness, that comes from life whenever you have that, they have that kind of pressure too that they're struggling with. At least for me, I did. Because I've got ADHD and anxiety and depression and all kinds of stuff that I deal with, and knowing that knowing the messages that I got, or and receiving the messages that I received, and getting the clarity that I got, allowed me to just leave in peace.
Yeah.
And leave
That's a big thing.
Confidence, and that was another big piece, was having confidence in the next steps that I was taking. Because, like we were saying earlier, having the chirping on either shoulder is great, except it doesn't really give you that answer that you need. The confidence to push in a direction, though, is huge. And when you
Yes.
hear it coming out of your own voice, it's tremendous. Hey, we're not.
Well, the ability to step up, and again, not ego, but the ability to step up and do something for someone without that, oh my gosh, I hope this works.
Yeah.
When you know, like I know the work that I do is solid. The work that I've done has always been solid. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was solid. But there was always that little voice inside that said, but what if?
Oh, yeah.
I would have, could have, should have, because as a kid, I was never good enough. I mean, a small bit of trauma. Many people have been through so much more trauma, but some of my trauma was you're never going to live up to expectations. It's always, you would have, could have, or should have. And so that track plays, and no matter how much therapy or no matter how much self-worth or work that I do, that you never completely destroy that tape. You can mute that tape and you can pause that tape, but there are those situations in life where that tape's going to replay.
Yep.
And I think now it's like, now I really can, like, my give a damn is busted about that tape. Like, I really give zero fucks about that tape anymore.
Yeah.
I know who I'm supposed to be. They were not able to see through their trauma and their concerns and their fears what gifts I had, and that becomes their problem and not my problem.
Right.
And to be able to sit back confidently and say that, and not egotistically saying that, just, it's fact. Like,
it is fact.
We all have gifts. Everybody has things special that you do. And there are always those people that are going to try to fuck up your shine. And the ability to go, you know what? You're not going to touch my shine. It's not that my shine's better than your shine. It's just, I'm not going to let anybody who's having a bad day spoil my good shit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep going with my good shit. And if you want some of that good shit, you can have some of that good shit.
Yeah. I'll share my shit with you.
I'll share my shit with you, good or bad. I'll share it with you. But there's no use worrying and ruminating about the bad shit for 3 or 4 or 5 days. What about 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Man, I can tell you, and I know, Bethany, you've done that too. We've sat with some shit for weeks and months. And it's like, why did I waste all that time on that shit? Because it really didn't matter. Finally said with pure inner peace. Yes, it is pure inner peace. And it's not that I'm saying I'm any better than anybody else. I'm just not going to let, I can have empathy without becoming what you're feeling. Yeah. I can help you out of your hole 100 times better if I stay on my tree branch than if I jump in the hole and waller with you. And people don't understand that. Like, I can stay at peace and extend a rope and help pull you out. There's nothing that says I have to go through that trauma with you and feel the pain and live the pain and now ruminate about my own trauma and then go down my own hole while we're going down your hole. I can stay up in my branch and go, come on, let's get you out of that. And I can stay up here. I don't have to drop. And that's the thing.
There's a lot to be said, right, for having experienced something and being able to help somebody through that fire because of the experience that you have, because you know how not to get burned.
Right.
And there's also a lot to be said for knowing when to say, okay, I see that if I go into that fire, I'm going to get burned. And it's my experience that if I go into that fire, I'm going to get burned. So you can come to me when you're ready to stop getting burned.
Yeah. And and not just that, but sorry, I think I had like chicken nugget crusties on my face and I just found them. That was my Wednesday Happy Meal. Sorry. I just realized that. Like, I got chicken nugget crusties on my face. The ability to walk away from that which no longer serves our higher purpose. So, there's drama in our personal lives. There's drama on Facebook. There's drama with everything we do. There's drama. There's those people that flare up drama. There's drama kings and drama queens. And the ability, like going through this helped me even to the point where I've walked away from several things and chose to lose money, lose experiences. But I drew that line in the sand. It was there. Like, I don't have to, why am I so concerned about trying to be the middleman, or why am I concerned about trying to keep peace? Fuck that shit. My peace is walking away, and it's
Like
not
I said,
a price tag on peace, for real. Walk away. And when I made the decision to walk away from those things, even though, yeah, I'm losing quite a bit of money and I'm losing some other things, it's kind of like, I didn't look back. It felt good. It was like,
it felt good, didn't it? Because you're ready. When you're ready, you're ready. And
there's that confidence that gave me, like, wait a minute, you know the answer to this already. Why are you struggling with this when you know what you are? You know what you're supposed to do.
Because subconsciously you're ready. And consciously we hold on to a bunch of bullshit that blocks us from what we are subconsciously trying to do. But consciously we hold on to these material things and these tangential things that block us from getting at what we truly desire and truly want and truly deserve. And that's what happens. And as soon as we let the veil down, as soon as we let the veil down and in these sessions start to really hear what we truly desire and what we truly need to do and the steps that we need to take to get there, as long as we do them, freeing. So freeing.
And just, the peace that came with doing that and knowing that I was right in my decision. And there was not even a, like, normally I'll ruminate. I'm a ruminator. Like, I'm a worrier, procrastinator, ruminator, the whole 9 yards. And like, I will stew on something and work myself up, and then I'll spin out about it. And this was just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to walk. And Chris was like, you're going to walk? You're okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Well, I'm okay with that too. Okay, well, I just did it. Like, I just walked. And it was like, damn, that was like so fast and such a relief. And there was not days of this. And you're right, Hellcat. Rescue crew requirements. Number 1, must stay centered. All are fucked if Lifeline panics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we do.
Yeah, it's like even what they say on the airplane, right? Like, put the mask on yourself before you put it on anybody else, right? Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anyone else. Right. And you're not taking care of your subconscious state of mind, your conscious state of mind is falling apart. And we have not trained ourselves to think this way, right? We are not organized in our society to think this way.
Well, media, social standards nowadays have, and it started a long time ago, but the standards shifted to, you have to take care of everybody but you. And there was a reason that model was thrown in there. It creates chaos and panic and fear. But yeah, respond instead of reacting. Like, the first rule of prison and institutional mental health nursing, like when you're going into locked units and level 5 prisons, is you don't rush into a scene. You've got somebody who's laying there stabbed, possibly bleeding out and dying, and you don't rush into the scene. You stand back and wait till the scene is cleared. Hardest thing I ever learned in nursing was watching somebody lay out on the floor, going through all this stuff, and having custody say, you have to stand back. It could take an hour. And you're thinking, no, I need to get in there. No, my safety is more important in this moment than their safety, because if I go in and now there's 2 people and then somebody else gets hurt trying to take care of me, there's 3 or 4 people. Now you've got 4 people laying out on the floor. You have to clear. You have to make sure that everything is safe before you go in. And we are not trained to do that. But once you realize that, decisions become a lot clearer.
Yep.
And ego does disintegrate at that point in time. It's not about it's about you, but it's not about you. To help the greater number of people, you have to be safe to help more people. If you're not
Yeah.
safe, then you're just throwing your body into the pit without having a plan. And really, I think the QHHT becomes that lifeline to yourself so that you can help yourself and then be able to, you're helping everybody around you, because now you're not the victim. You're not just reacting. You're actually consciously attached for your higher good, doing what you need to do so you don't fucking have to repeat it 100 times in 100 more lives.
That's the goal, right?
Or passing it on to your children to have to pick up the
Get
pieces.
it right so that you're not making all the same mistakes. Yeah, and so that you're not creating all the same mistakes for all the people in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that we continue to see happen, and I continue to see show up in these sessions, is the way that generational trauma shows up and is handed down, but
Yeah.
is also then able to be resolved, you guys, through these types of sessions. If the mind is able to make itself sick, the mind is also able to heal itself. So if we are able to identify things through these types of sessions, then we should also be able to resolve them in our conscious state of being. So, like, we just have to like draw the map, right? Just draw the map and do the work. That's the thing, that we have to do the work. And I
As
think
with anything.
and we get hung up in our society on wanting an instant fix. And you know, people, they want immediate healing, and they want something to immediately fix them. And you have the ability to have the healing yourself. You can do it. Your mind can do it. You have to take the steps. When you have these types of sessions, you receive the knowledge, you receive the information for what it takes to get you to the other side of healing, to get to the other side of feeling good if you don't feel good. And your mind will tell you what it takes very pointedly. If you take the steps to do it, then you will feel good.
And I want to point out, the immediacy is not for everybody. Bethany and I have spent years working on our shadow work. some failed workings and some better than other responses. I mean, we both have gone down some really dark holes in some dark places, different kinds, but same difference. I mean, we've both lived through our personal hells and back.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Multiple.
Let me tell you, 63 years, multiple layers of hell. Multiple layers. And I'm sure Bethany can attest to that too. So it wasn't just all of a sudden QHHT came along and we both jumped in, and she went to her people and I went to her, and I'm like healed, and it was instantaneous. There was an instantaneous transformation for me.
Yeah, but there was an instantaneous transformation, but I will tell you that it was layered on top of years of healing.
Yes.
But
we're ready. Like, I was ready for those answers, and I kind of knew the answers already going in because I had done the work prior to, as had Bethany. So if you're not willing to do the work, there's not going to be instantaneous healing.
Yeah, I see kind of different layers of people that come in, if you will. And what I see are different layers of connectivity with their higher self. The people that are more connected with their higher self have the higher success rates because they're more connected. They just are more tuned in and are more apt to follow through with what they're being told to do. But the people that are not connected with their higher self, people that don't have good practice in place typically aren't as successful as what they could be. Do they still have success? Yes.
Yes.
Do they still have good outcomes? Absolutely. Can they have better outcomes? Can they have stronger outcomes? Yes. But there's just stronger opportunity there. And that's just opportunity for growth.
Hellcat, you nailed it, Hellcat. It's going to play out in the way it's supposed to, no matter what you do. The steps and actions in between is when you're entering stage right till the scene's going to play out as long as it needs to play out. Some of us, it's going to end super, super quick, but then there's ongoing work. And some of us, it may take longer to get there, depending on, what's going on. The higher self or the balanced self. I think your balanced self, Witchmaster, is your higher self. I mean, I think to balance, the peace that comes with being balanced is actually obtaining some of your higher self. If you can't be balanced or you don't find peace, then you're not going to find your higher self. So I think balanced and higher, you at least have to achieve a state of balance to move up to higher.
Yeah, you're in your balanced state to get to your higher self. You're balanced to be there.
But it's staticky, because some days you're going to be just balanced and some days you're going to be higher, and there's going to be days you're going to fucking dip. You're going to dip.
You're going to be low.
You're not, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's always static. It's always moving.
Your higher self shows up for you when you're in your highest self form. So it is a matter of balance.
What if moving up higher is off balance? I see what you're saying. Okay, so from my perspective, from my being a darker person with darker energy, and I use the word darker, I'm not evil, there's a difference. Dark, for me, if I'm all glitter bomby and unicorns, I'm fucked. That may be higher self for some people. That's not higher self for me. That's never going to be my achievement for higher self. There's something wrong with me if I'm glitter bombing and I'm way up high and I'm vibing super, super high all the time. So to me, balance and knowing where I need to be healthy is achieving my higher self. So I think for me personally, balance is more important than being higher, because if I'm not a higher being, my purpose is to vibe lower, to pull up things, then I'm off balance. And that may or may not make sense, and there's multiple interpretations of that, and I'm sure I'm not articulating.
It makes sense to me. I get that. I get what you mean by that.
I think you can have a different vibration and still be a high vibrating people. Now I get, there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this and go, oh no, you have to balance, like you have to be super, super high. You've got your Masonics and your Odd Fellows and your classes of people that the whole purpose is to increase the vibration of the earth to heal. I'm able to increase a vibration for a room with me being where I'm at. Mm-hmm. If I know how to do that, then I am in balance. If I throw off the balance of the room because I'm so imbalanced, then there's an issue, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that.
Okay, it says I have a feeling I have a few more ass kickings before I come to find balance. Here, hold my beer. I got your beer for you, Hellcat. There's always got to be somebody that holds it while you go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I got it. I've been there. And I'm going to continue to be there because that's who I am. Sometimes it's just essential to meet people down in the trenches where they are instead of trying to pull them up. I'm not going to disagree with you. I may not fight with them to pull them up, but I have sat in the trenches with many, many people, and I don't mind sitting in the trenches. But when it's time to get the fuck out because the bomb's coming, I'm going to leave your ass. I'm just going to say, I will sit there until that bomb's ready to drop. And when that bomb's like almost there and you go, no, I'm not ready, I'm going to go, bye. And I'm going to hike because yeah. There was a time where I would not have done
stupid. We're gentle, but we're not stupid.
There was a time where I would have sat there. Look what I can do. Octopus red waving. Yes. I've done that. No. In 63 years, I learned to jump out. I'm done. Yeah. At that point. Bomb away. Bomb away. I'm out. Anything else you want to add? Go back in. Bethany can be reached on Facebook through Bethany Noble, The Guided Key.
Yep. Bethany Noble Reiki QHHT is my Facebook. And then also The Guided Key on Facebook. You can also find my website, www.theguidedkey.com. If you want to sign up for a QHHT session, you can book a session through my website. You can also reach me, my phone number, 573-279-4454. You can call me, text me if you just want to chat about hypnosis and learn more about it. I love to talk about it all the time. It's like, my favorite thing right now. So feel free to reach out to me if you are interested in a session. I am booking out right now in October, I believe. So
yeah, she's busy. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of time. She's very, very busy.
Very busy. Get on my calendar though, because they're fascinating sessions that are bringing relief to everyone in unique ways. That everyone that has a session has unique relief in in some way that they come in. They are receiving some sort of clarity, some sort of peace, some sort of release, some sort of uplifting experience, just some sort of enlightenment. I'm trying to remember like any of the other types of pieces of feedback. It's just really encouraging and fascinating, some of the feedback that I'm getting from the work that I've been doing so far. It really is amazing. I really love it. And I'm really grateful to the community for opening its arms up and receiving it. I'm going to be going very public very soon in the community about the work. I'm very grateful for you allowing me to come on the podcast and share all of this. But I'm going to be going public in our community with some, more wider marketing, and it's a little intimidating to, think about doing that just because it's new in the area and there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of things that come up. So I really appreciate, some of the opportunity to share some of the knowledge here, and I appreciate you especially sharing your experience, because it was a beautiful experience. Your session was really beautiful.
It was crazy.
Yeah. It was.
Crazy. Beautiful. Hellcat says, I have to say, you two ladies hold space beautifully. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad I found y'all. Listen, Hellcat, smash that like and subscribe button. I am on every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And because it's the Spiritual Speakeasy, I talk about all kinds of things. I am very open. The only thing I ask of the people that I have on is that there's no bullshit. I have no rules. We can talk about anything, but there's no bullshit. So we get on and most people are willing to share their experiences and share their lives and answer questions. And all spirits are served. I come one, come all, and ask any questions that you want. That's why I wanted a podcast like this, because everybody wants to put everybody in a little box, and I will pop out of that box faster than a Hellcat. No pun intended there. Here, hold my beer while I climb out of the box and punch you one. I want to have an open podcast where everything can be discussed. And Bethany's we've been together a really long time doing what it is that we do.
I think
Right?
it's so funny that
Whatever the hell it is that we do, we do
I think
it.
it's hilarious that some people don't know that we have the background that we do, and you talk about how you walk in you Julie is the dark, and it's like I am the light, and and I was putting my bracelets on this for this, and I got like all of my light bracelets on one side and all of my dark bracelets on the other, and I was like, oh, that's so fitting.
Yeah, it's like, and here I am, like braceletless.
But it's kind of the dynamics of how our relationship is, and we're so the duality is just our pairing,
But we
and
work so well
we
together.
balance each other so well. When you're in your dark and I'm in my light, we're able to balance each other. And then when I'm in my dark and you're in your light, like you were just describing, when you're in your light and you shouldn't be, and I'm in my dark and I shouldn't be, then we balance each other out. It's just a really beautiful dynamic. So, Hellcat, to your comment that we hold space beautifully, that's why, because we kind of get each other's balance and that duality is there. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate that.
It's wonderful to hold space for people of like mind, but we also, here we are, like opposite. It is a full moon. Get your crystals out. We still got a few days there. It's wonderful to be able to hold energy and space with all kinds of people. And there's not a lot of people that can pull that off.
Yeah.
I work with really, really dark practitioners. I mean, when we go dark and we work together, it's unbelievable the things that happen in a room. I mean, you talk about people who can light up a room. We can darken a room faster than we've done some weird stuff together. I have worked with what I call yay phase that are like their energy is just all fucking unicorn glitter bomb shit. Whew. I can do that for a few hours, and then I like Julie adds the spice and Bethany's the cooling source cream. Yeah, I am spicy. I'm very spicy.
Sour cream.
Sour cream. I am the spice. I will admit that. And I like bringing on the spice. Is your birthday in the winter? No, I'm an Aries, my dear. I'm 2 out of 3 of my signs are fire.
Yeah, and I'm a Cancer.
I like the bridge with me still on it and go bombs away. Fuck all. We're just going to blow, figure out what to do next. I haven't done that for now. There's been a few weeks now that I really have not lit the bridge with me on it. I'm considering not doing that again. Mad respect. Thank you. Okay, we just have a lot of fun in life. It's not really planned
out. What else are we supposed to do? I mean, really.
Yeah, early spring can still be dark and cold. Yes, I'm still within the dead coming up from the ground. That's the way I see myself. Yeah. Yeah, my birthday is early enough that the bulbs have not come up yet usually, and I'm like still deep, dark in death. I hate summer.
And I'm a Cancer.
There you go. But fall's coming really soon and things are going to start dying, and I'm really excited because that's my season. Somebody goes, this was the last full moon of summer. I'm like, yes, death is coming.
Death is on its way.
Death is on its way. The darkness shall preside. Bethany, thank you so much for being on.
Julie, it's always my pleasure. I love being here. Every time I get a chance, I will always be here.
She'll be my sub too. Like when people don't show, I'll give her a call and be like, Bethany, are you available? We're going to do this. Because the two of us can talk. Like this is a 2 hour, it's a 1 hour pod. It's 2 hours. So
it's been 2 hours. Oh.
It's been 2 hours. We do this. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Love to you guys all. Next Sunday, 6 p.m. I'll get my guest up and posted so you can read about them. Be here, like and share. See us soon. Love you, Bethany. I'm taking us down.
Love
Love you guys. Peace out. Have a great week.